And we're live. So, welcome to conversation number 8 of our 19 conversations. I think when we started this, we were hoping that 19 conversations would be enough. That's the case. So, PJ and I'd like to welcome today Guitar Hack. How's it going?
The mighty Hack.
Thanks for inviting me. This is cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, we thought we'd put you on the other end of this. You're normally the one hosting live streams and interviewing people. We thought it'd be fun to put you on the other end where you don't have to host and worry about all the little stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's kind of weird being on this end, but yeah.
Right. Hack was really kind to us. I mean, one of the reasons we started the whole YouTube thing was to make some friends and find some people to talk gear with. And Hack has been there supporting us since the beginning, very early in our YouTube. I guess you would call it career, maybe. Hack had us on his show, which I think we picked up I think it was more than 20, Pat. I think you said 20 earlier, but I think it was like 30 or some subs that day, which was a big boost for the channel. And we were just talking about how it just hit 900 right before we started, which is really cool.
Cool. That's good, guys. You guys will be there soon enough.
All right. So, and for whatever reason, the goal is 1,000, right? Like monumental things happen when you hit 1,000, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal.
A lot of features open up and things that you can't do now that you'll be able to do, like community tab. For one.
Right. Some more back end, more work.
That too.
So, who do we have in here right now? BB Made is in here. Jay Steen, 6-string Brian. Brody's in the house.
Cool.
Lars Guitars. Bent. So I'm seeing some names I see over in the Hack stream all the time. And,
so for those who aren't normally in the Hack stream, do a brother a favor, go over to his and click the subscribe button, Brody.
Yeah.
That would be appreciated. Yeah.
Brody. Howdy to all you guitar hooligans.
Yeah.
BB Made is in here. He's the guy, if you saw the episode we did on the Leslie G pedal from Hammond, he's the one that mailed that to us, mailed that out to us and let us record that, and we really appreciated that.
Oh, very cool.
We saw on our Instagram that someone watched that video and bought that pedal, so somehow you should get a commission from somebody, just not us. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
Yeah.
All right. I'm having good guests lately. Yeah. Thank you, Jay Steen.
Yeah.
And there's some pedal maker guests coming up this week, so stay tuned. I think some of those interviews that we did. So Dave Sestito from DSL Effects should be on Thursday, and then David Barber from Barber is going to be on Friday. That's cool.
Nice.
So I think. What are you thinking, Pat? Hack?
Well, we're going to talk about Hack just for a second. I mean, there's a lot of familiar faces in there, but like Hack is our Canadian YouTube brethren. So he is, the Great White North, for those who might not know. Yeah. So I mean, we're part of the reason we're all going live is because we're sort of been forced indoors. Maybe we can start there. What's the situation with you in Canada?
It's the same. I'm in Toronto, so and it's the same. The numbers are rising. Unfortunately, we've got all the things in place in terms of the distancing and only going out for necessities and all that sort of thing. And today, they've been telling people not to get together in parks and stuff. And today they actually closed all the parks. So all that sort of thing, to discourage people from getting together there. And basically the same restrictions that you guys are dealing with up there. We're only supposed to go out for necessities. A lot of people are not working now. A lot of companies have closed down. All the bars and restaurants, it's takeout. So like as a gigging guy, I was saying off air, like I had stuff lined up all through April, May, June, and that's all pretty much done, So it's
so you might be able to save some money then. Is
Wow.
Did you see that meme that was going around where the guy was like, I figured out, I added up all the gigs that I have coming up and figured out I'll save $230.
Yeah, they're like, my gigs are canceled through September. I've saved $237.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it was funny. So yeah, I mean, I've said to you many times that Canada is one of my favorite. There's a spot in Canada that's one of my favorite places on earth, and I just was talking to my mother last night even, and she was like, "Well, you're not going to see it this year." Like just.
Well, I asked you when you come, and you said June. Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, we typically open the cottage in June, then we take the family up for like a week or so in July, and then my wife and I will go back and close the cottage up late August, September, October, somewhere. Sometimes we get lucky and there's 4 trips, like one in August, and then close it late September, early October. But I mean, when you get the whole way to September, like say September, everything's fine. Like, how much work do you put into opening a cottage for a weekend or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Is it even worth it at that point?
Could be the first year of my life I don't spend time in Canada.
Wow.
So, who else we got in here? Dale Palmer, Brian Landreth, Uncle Bry's in the house. He reminds us of Uncle Si from.
He was engaging us with his Southern charm and wit and wisdom, and when he started talking about taking people on guided duck hunts at like 14, I'm like, we have found our own Uncle Si and the embodiment of Uncle Bry. We just have to get him a plastic teacup, and we are all set.
Dale Palmer, did I say Dale? 2 and 3 chord jams.
Yeah, it's Don. Don's here.
Bobby Clipper.
Yeah.
Magic Matt.
Magic Matt. That's a new name for me.
I mean, we've seen Magic Matt in here before. That's awesome. So yeah, like this roll call thing that you do, it's funny because I've been teaching high school kids online for the last 2-3 weeks now, and like I'm using all the YouTube tricks, right? Like doing the roll call for the kids, which was cool in the beginning. Now we're getting to have a lot of them, and so you got to read. I don't know how you were talking about it earlier when you get 60, 70 people in a chat, how it can be difficult. That's a new thing for me. But.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier. Yeah, it can be a little tricky, especially when you've got a guest on. Trying to you got to keep one eye on the chat and one eye on the guest. But
you mean like when you have a really popular guest on, you get more people in your chat than normal, like that, like today.
Yeah, we've tripled our numbers for this conversation thing. Great Vanzini's out there.
Thank everybody for that. I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is cool.
So should we talk about our artists? So one of the things we've been doing, like this whole conversation thing, is just a way for Pat and I, who are unable to get together and record like we have been doing, to kind of keep that going, to check in and offer a distraction.
Yeah.
Which is really what we're doing. So one of the things we thought about doing was doing like kind of a pedal of the day, artist of the day thing. Somebody that we like, that we've been digging, that, we thought we'd share with people. And this one's kind of cool because we can combine both the pedal of the day and the artist of the day into the same place. So let's check this guy out. We've just been playing like 30 seconds of him. So we'll play about 30 seconds of this guy, and then we'll talk about what pedal it is, because it's fun. Here we go. I was waiting for that last lick there.
Makes me miss my telly watching that guy.
I wish I could play my telly watching that. So, pedal of the day then. This guy right here.
Okay, I can barely see that.
Yeah, because the way the light.
Can you put it under your other camera, or is that one not on?
I can. I don't know how. I don't know if that will be better. Let's try the other camera.
Well, if you,
You'll get Josh Smith out of the middle there too.
yeah, and I'd probably, yeah, and you can feature yourself, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Tara.
newbies. Is that a little better?
Oh yeah,
So that's the love pedal believe. It's really easy to show the features, right? It has an input and an output jack.
yeah. What's
And a button.
what's the deal with the jacks on top though? That's a little different.
Yeah. Trying to change this camera back. All right, yeah. I mean, so you got the jacks on top. That's it. So it's basically like if you take the octave up out of the fuzz pedal. So if you're doing one of the, the fuzz pedals that have that octave up, like the Octavia or something like that,
Right.
and just put it in a pedal, and then so you can use that with an overdrive, use it with your clean signal, use it anywhere. That's basically what Josh Smith is using. So there's many pedal rig rundowns out there of him, where this pedal's like kind of, he has one of those. What's the name of that pedal board he uses? It's
The Schmidt Array or something.
yeah,
or?
the Schmidt Array pedal board. I think this is up underneath
Hmm.
and his whatever his loop thing is.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
I guess it helps him rise above the mix and cut a little better.
Right. And then when he got up on those high notes too, that he got that kind of Octavia sound, right?
Right. A little warble. Yeah.
It's that upper octave bite to it. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
So what did we have going on in the chat? Anything? Josh, hey, guitar from BB May.
Yeah. Benzini. Hey, Benzini saying no knobs.
Right. And that's the best kind of pedal right there. All right. You can't mess it up.
Yeah.
Ben said he met Josh when he was 17 in Florida.
Oh, that's cool.
Plays with a drummer friend of his. Very cool.
Well, kind of the no knob situation with that and some fuzz pedals and some octave pedals is a knob that is important to that sometimes is your volume knob, because sometimes you have to go from wide open to back to about 7 or 8. And then when you get up in the higher frets, that pedal really blooms, because sometimes it kind of gets lost in a lot of the octave fuzz pedals. So there is the only knob that matters on that one is probably the volume knob on your guitar.
Right. When you roll that down, you can really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Brody
Yeah, we were going
kind of talk Bacchus.
we were jokingly going to build a pedal board with the fewest, like one knob wonders. Like how many pedals can you put on of a certain kind? And we figured we had a secret weapon there because we would start with 0.
Yeah, but he's doing like the smallest pedal board, the cheapest pedal board. Like, can we do the one with the least amount of knobs, right? Like, how many pedals can you get with like, round up?
I've only got one pedal that I have that has one knob on it. Everything else has got more than that. And it's the one that's got the one knob on it is actually what I used in place of a Tube Screamer, and it's called a Javelina pedal. It's a really nice boost. It's a Lawrence Petros pedal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Everything else is.
Yeah, I saw your episodes on that, because didn't you put out an episode on that?
I probably did. You know what? Now that I'm talking about it, I was supposed to do a review of that pedal, and I haven't because all this stuff happened, and it's like. And then I got the HX effects, and now I haven't even. My pedal board's been in a bag since 2 weeks now or something.
Right.
Maybe I saw you talking about it on a live stream, but now that you brought up the HX effects, the reason that we really are doing this show today, ladies and gentlemen, is because we needed a scheduled intervention for that. He's gone digital.
Yeah.
We're worried about him. We're worried about you, Hack.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah. It's, I had a couple of instances where, and I'm sure this has happened to you guys, 5 minutes before you start, and you're hitting your board, and it's just there's nothing coming out of it, and then it's panic time. And I've got usually anywhere from 11 to 12 pedals on there, patch cords going everywhere, and you're just ripping stuff out and trying to find what's, you know. And the last time it happened, I ended up ripping like 3 pedals off the board, and I did the show with what was remaining, and I got a sound. So that was it. And I just kind of went with that and I didn't touch it. So after that happened, and that happened to me twice, and then, you know, the wheels start turning. There's got to be a different way, a better way maybe of doing this, and not incorporating so many potential failure points. And that's kind of where the whole idea for the HXFX came into play. So
I mean, it makes sense. It really does. It does.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen. I had it recently. I went in and plugged in and turned on and had no sound. And I'm to the point where I'm about ready to start ripping cables out, ripping stuff out, trying to figure where the amp's going. Couldn't figure out what was going on. And what it was is I have a Vertex boost pedal.
right.
Vertex boost has a jack for an expression pedal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have an expression pedal plugged into that, which becomes your volume pedal, which is nice because you can put it anywhere in the chain you want. So I can use that as a volume pedal after the drives.
Right.
Well, the boost was on. I didn't realize it was on, and the volume pedal was all the way back. So that's all it was. And I mean, I spent a good 5 minutes of panic trying to figure out how to get sound out of my rig.
Well, when I did a live show after that, or I did a video after that happened, and I took my everything off the board, and then I built it back up again, and I tested every patch cord and every pedal as I went, and everything worked wonderfully. So when you get those gremlins and you can't find them,
Right.
that's even more frustrating, because you know it's just a matter of time before it's going to do it again.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's a bad feeling.
Because before the world went sideways, say in a month's time, how often you were gigging quite a bit? Like how often, maybe in a month, would you gig?
A slow month would be twice. Typical month would be like 4.
So like pretty much every weekend.
Every weekend, yeah, pretty much, basically every weekend. Yeah.
And your band, how many players in your band, and what's the genre?
There's 4 of us, and I guess you could call it classic rock.
Mhm.
So you're looking at everything from, 50s like Roy Orbison, and right up to 90s power punk like
Mhm.
Blink 182 and everything in between, Cheap Trick and Tragically Hip and Rush and all kinds of stuff.
That's funny you say Tragically Hip, but they're a Canadian band. Is that true?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So I saw them open for Eric Johnson. So that was quite the little bit of an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah. That's weird. Eric Johnson and them opening that. Yeah, that.
It was back in the probably early to mid 90s. They opened for him.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I've got 12 pedals on my board.
Right.
There's nothing in there that does not get touched, right? And then plus, like when I was thinking about going digital, I needed that same kind of versatility where I can turn things on and off. Because it'll be like, you'll hit a delay for one part of a song, you don't want it for the other part of the song. You might want a chorus here and not chorus there, and then there's lead boosts and clean tones and then dirty tones, and then we do like some hair metal stuff, and then I want that really 80s. So everything is getting used. There's nothing there just for looks. Believe me. I mean, it's like I was, if anything, I was trying to like, shorten the amount of pedals, but I needed everything on that board, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you guys know this. When you're going from song to song, you don't want to be flipping knobs. It's like it's got to be bang, bang, bang. Like if you build up momentum and you've got people on the dance floor, and you're going to take 5 minutes between songs, it's like you're starting over again. So you got to keep it. You got to keep it going. You basically got to be like a jukebox and just one after the other, and
30 seconds can clear your dance floor.
Yeah, exactly. You get the momentum going, right? Set list is right there on the floor. It's like when that song ends, I'm already turning on the pedals for the next one, so.
Yeah, you can't wait long because that 4 on the floor kick drum only carries for so long before people start looking around like, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the cool thing about the HX effects. I can set up like I can potentially have, it's like I can have 6 pedals available to me with 6 different tones at any one time. So I basically program it so that, when I'm doing this type of material, these are the 6 sounds that I would use. And then if I'm doing another type, these are the 6 pedals that I'm going to use. And there'll be different pedals. And I still have the ability of turning things on and off. And the last couple of things that we started working on were, songs that have a lot effects wise going on. And it's a lot easier. Like, I mean, I did a video where I covered the Flock of Seagulls I ran. There's a song that's got a ton of stuff on it. And with the tweakability with that, I could basically dial in that sound. I can pick those 6 effects that will definitely dial it in, and then I can turn things on and off. So it makes it sound richer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of as close, like we did, She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult, and I was able to get a pretty close sound with pedals. But with this, I can nail it. I can nail that tone, right? And that's actually, I think a lot of the fun of it is I'll go and I'll pull up a song on YouTube and I'll listen to it, and then it's like you've got an endless amount of paints, and what are you going to mix in that's going to get to that sound that you're listening to, right? I'm having fun with it in that regard. And if I had to do all that by even more, if I did that with pedals, I'd have like a massive pedal,
Right.
or I'd have like, a separate pedal board just for one song kind of thing, right? Stuff that I would never use again, right? So
Just real quick before you guys move on, just looking at the chat a little bit, people are talking about. I apologize. We're not pros like Hack is at this, but somebody did mention that they thought it was a really good idea for Tragically Hip to open for Eric Johnson to have like a different band, because they're going to bring in new fans and maybe swap some fans a little bit. And
yeah,
somebody else said that they're a big. I think maybe who was it? Somebody said they were a big fan of Tragically Hip, which is really cool. And I had it in my head. I'm sorry, man. I forget which one of you said it, but the chat's moving a little bit. We're not the greatest multitaskers.
yeah. The Hip was much bigger in Canada than I think in the US. They didn't really. Like they were in Canada, they would be up there on the same level as, I would say, like Rush. That's how big they were here.
Wow.
And then the singer, I don't know if you guys know the story, but the singer actually passed away. He had brain cancer, and he wanted to do one last tour of Canada while he was still able to. So part of it was memory loss and stuff, right? And he wanted to go around and do one last tour before he would not be able to sing anymore, literally. And they were televising, some of those shows. Like, it was a big, big deal here.
Wow.
So
I don't know if this will be a good segue or not. So you've shown before there's a Marshall small combo amp that you use, right?
Yeah.
For gigs.
Right there.
Something that's a little bit more compact, not crazy heavy. I think you've done a couple things about that, but
it's 50 pounds, so it's a little heavy.
So maybe I wasn't paying too close attention in class that day.
And it ain't that small. I wish it were, but it's not.
But I was gonna say, from us watching your show and things, your guitar of choice is Les Paul,
hands down.
Question though, related to that. So with the diversity of your set list.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you bought a PRS SE and stuff. So if you're going out to the gig, so now we know you have the pared down pedal board, you have that Marshall, and then is that the PRS back there?
Yeah. But the PRS, so that's the first guitar that I've ever bought without playing, because I ordered it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fully prepared to pick it up and just hand it right back and say I don't like it. But surprisingly, it played really well. It felt really, really good. But the pickups were weak on that. But so it's got new pickups in it. Somebody was kind enough to send me some of the, the locking tuners, the screws in the top.
Mm.
And and now it sounds really, really good. And I had to replace the switch as well. The switch was wonky on it. So I have what I think now is a really good PRS.
So was the SE custom? What was it again? It was
No. This is like the bare bone. This is the SE standard. So it doesn't have so this is weird. So like the SC custom has the same electronics and everything as that guitar. The only thing it has is it has a maple cap on it. And for that maple cap in Canada, it was like $400 more.
Doesn't all the maple come from Canada?
You know what I mean? I'm like, it's all right. Forget the maple cap. Just give me the bare bones guitar and let me mod it. And so,
you put Sheptone pickups on that?
No, that one. So there's a gentleman that's he's in a lot of my streams. Guitar Bazaar. It's a gentleman named Glenn who's in Arizona, and he hand winds pickups. He calls them PNAFs, patent not apply for. But what he basically does is he winds them like the PAFs and uses the same wire, the same technology and all that kind of stuff. And he makes hand wound pickups. And I bought a set off him. And when I had them put in, I have a local guy who does all my stuff. And when I went to pick up the guitar, he's like, "What the hell are these pickups?" and we went to one of the music rooms and we were playing, and he absolutely loved it. They are so clear. They're just low output, super clarity, and just all kinds of lush overtones. It just they sound so good. Like I would put that PRS now up against I don't know, like a CE or I don't know the PRS models, but the higher end models, I'd put that up against it. Now yeah.
Does he do tele pickups too?
He does any pickup.
Oh, you might have to send me his name because
yeah. The Sheptones, I talk a lot about Sheptones I actually had Josh from Sheptone on my show 2-3 weeks ago. The Sheptone pickups, the other guitar that I have that everybody, when I play it, they'll seem to think it's my best sounding Les Paul, has Sheptone pickups in it. And when I bought the guitar, I had no idea what Sheptone was. I just loved the sound of it. And then later, I was told they were Sheptones, and then later did a little bit of research. And it's like, then I find out my brother is a guitar player. Without talking to him, I find out that he's buying Sheptones and throwing them in all his Gibsons. He loves them so much, right? So yeah, so that's a Sheptone pickup. And those pickups are also really, really good. Oh, is that a question for me?
I'm assuming because you did that.
Yeah, so I did a couple of videos with the TV Yellow. So the first one I did was I tried out one of the Epiphones, and in Canada it was like they're going for $599 or $560, something like that. And they, it's got the P90s in it. The one I originally played in the store, it had a noisy toggle switch. That aside, though, the thing sounded really, really good, and it played really good, and the workmanship and everything on it was fine. Then about 2 weeks later, I went to another store where I had, where my buddy works, and he had both the the Gibson and the Epiphone. And so I A-B'd the two. You're looking at the Gibson was $2,100. The Epiphone again was, let's call it $600. So it was like, is the Gibson worth that extra money? And no, it's not. The Epiphone,
you can put a wall or pickup or something in it for that price, right?
Exactly. So like the Les Paul did feel a little better. I'll give it that. It felt a little bit better. The finish on it the Epiphone is like a really thick finish, so you can't see any wood grain. You see a little bit of grain on the Gibson one. It's a little lighter finish on it, but really it comes down to the pickups. What I would have done is, and when you play them, the Gibson sounded better. It just sounded hands down better. So I would have bought the Epiphone, slap, like you were saying, slap in like a good set of P90s, and you got a great guitar for what, $800 with the pickups.
Yeah.
So
somebody asked in here, I think it was Bent, if you've heard from, where is it? If you've heard the guy that makes the pickups, apparently his wife was sick and they thought she might have the COVID thing going on. I don't see where that comment was. I was trying to hold it.
Oh, he's talking about Glenn.
Yeah.
No, as far as I know, I don't even know if Glenn knew that she had COVID, but I haven't talked to Glenn, so I can't really. I don't really know the details on that.
Okay. So, all right.
So I was kind of headed down the road of like, so you have that PRS, which just gives you some variety because you can split the coils, but then you like your Les Pauls. And with that, I was going to have Jason, I don't know if he's ready because he's trying to multitask, but there is a guitar that we wanted to talk about today that would fall in that realm of the types of guitars you like to use.
So just so you know, when I modded that PRS, I took all that pickup splitting out. It's just missions now. Yeah, it's a Les Paul.
So let me back up then. I know I segued to the other thing. We were going to put it in reverse for a second. So if you take out that PRS and maybe one of the Les Pauls, do you take any single coil stuff out to cover any of that broad territory that you guys?
You know what? I can cover. I'll play the show. I'll take out a Les Paul. I'll do the whole show with the Les Paul. If I have a second guitar, it'll be if I break a string or something goes wonky. But I used to, back when we used to go out, I always I take a Strat and a humbucker, which was generally a Les Paul. But lately, it's just, you know what? I want to play the same guitar all night. I know what to expect. And I'm good with one guitar.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way too. Take one guitar, take a backup. Unless we were playing like an open tuning slide tune or something, I might have one for that. But
yeah, well, the only detuning I do, and I'll do it right on the stage, and we sort of set the set list so that it's usually the first song is if I have to do a drop D. That's it. We don't do any like DADGAD or any of that stuff. The only tuning I'll do is a drop D in a gig. So.
Okay. So if we want to tell the story of this Les Paul, we got to tell a little bit of the story behind it. And I hope to someday have the owner. So I'm not the actual owner, but I hope someday to have the owner on an episode. But we're gonna have to wait to after this is all over to kind of give a better history of the guitar. Mm-hmm. But so what happened is our friend, when I first started playing, going out to the blues jam, I knew the pentatonic scale and how to play a 1-4-5. There's a lot of these old blues cats that were teaching me how to play every week.
That's cool.
You play with them and they take you out in the parking lot and tell you what you did wrong.
And one of them was like 6'8", so some of those conversations were a little intimidating.
Right. So this was a guy named Gary Harrington. And there's a lot of great stories with Gary. I remember one early on and getting to know Gary, we were having a conversation afterwards and he's like, "Oh, come down to my club with me." And that's a whole nother story because it was in a part of Harrisburg that I wouldn't go to by myself because, being a 20-year-old white guy at the time, I just wouldn't have gone there. So lots of interesting stuff happened with him over the years. Anyway, not too long, he was in the hospital. He's had several strokes, several heart attacks. And he ended up in the hospital, and they told him that he wasn't going to walk out of the hospital without a heart transplant.
Wow.
So you got a 60-some-year-old blues musician that, that's his job, and, he's single, no family, probably not going to get a heart transplant. And so this guitar was given to me by one of our third mutual friends that was storing a lot of his stuff because he was basically homeless at the time. Not really, but whatever. Was storing stuff for him, and we thought he was dead. And he would have been had not a community stepped up around him and promised to watch over him. And they didn't give him a heart transplant. They put a is called an LPAT. I forget what the name of it is. It's a battery. They put pumps in his chest.
Wow.
So he has no pulse now. He's hooked up to a bat. He calls it toaster time.
Mm-hmm.
He's plugged in like a toaster. He gets in the car. He plugs in the cigarette lighter. He has battery packs.
Wow.
He's doing well. The idea is that thing will keep you alive until you get a heart, kind of thing.
Right.
So miraculously, he's out of the hospital. So the guitar came to me because Gary said he wanted me to have it. He wanted me to buy it for whatever, and that money was going to go to his nephew. So he knows there's a big sentimental value because this is like one of my guitar heroes. This is one of the guys that was there. There's a big sentimental value to this guitar for me, and there's a big sentimental value to it to him. The problem is, the issue is how much he thinks it's worth is much higher than how much I think.
It's pretty darn sentimental.
Right. It's very sentimental. So here it is. And
Chainsaw case.
Oh yeah, chainsaw case. There you go.
Right. So everybody, Les Paul guys, when they see that case, they go, okay, well, yeah, that has to be something
special. Yeah.
So let me see if I can dig it out of this thing. I love on the case. Can you read the sticker?
Steinberger.
So he played Steinbergers for years. Oh my gosh! Why are Les Pauls so heavy?
A lot of sentiment in them.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So this is a 1979 Les Paul custom.
Right.
Do the best we can.
Okay. That's quite the interesting look.
Right.
Okay. That's real neck wear.
So
yeah,
I believe it was probably cherry. I don't think that this is stock. Although I saw on Trogley's show the other day, he had some Les Pauls where they did have that stock. Was I forget the name of that as TP that kind of bridge.
It's like a tuner. It's not. It's got little mini tuners, like almost like a Floyd Rose, right? Like
right. You can tune it down here with these old tuners.
Okay, that's weird, man.
And I forget what that. There's a name for that. I forget what they're called. Somebody might
they're
know.
just little fine tuners. It's funny because I have an Ibanez around that same lawsuit Ibanez that has that same type of bridge on it around the same year. That's funny.
And that is like a stock bridge on some Les Pauls.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, Trogley's the other day had this custom Les Paul. It wasn't custom. It wasn't just a custom. I forget what kind of. It was a special Les Paul, but he had like 4 of them lined up, and they all had that bridge on, which is the first time I've ever seen it on something else.
I've never seen that type of bridge on anything but a Floyd.
And so I think when he got it, there was a pretty big gouge in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up sanding it, changing, and you can't tell this on the camera. I can't even tell it. You might be able to tell it if you had it in your hand, but it actually changed the carve of the top a little bit.
Oh, it shallowed out at one point.
So I'm not sure exactly what the difference is, but the carve on the tops changed a little bit. Stained it. This is the stain that it came up with. Refinished it. This is actually Kenny Neal. If you guys, any of you blues guys out there that know who Kenny Neal is, Kenny Neal used to come through the area, tried to get this guy to go out on the road with him. And he really wanted to go out on the road with him, but he was taking care of his mom. So he spent a lot of his life after his dad died, staying at home, taking care of his mom. Just absolute, just one, real stand-up individual, nice guy, whatever. But this was, if you talk to him, this is the guitar that was going to make him famous. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's the one that he was going to be famous for someday when he was famous, that everybody would associate this Les Paul.
Those stock pickups in that?
I do believe the pickups are stock.
Okay.
But I have not pulled them off to look at it. And I do notice it looks like it should have like gold hardware, and I know how much you like that.
All right. I'm trying not to look at that.
Yeah, because Jason isn't the owner and he's in this weird precarious situation. He hasn't like taken it apart and looked at the pots and all that. He's just been he's reluctant to take it out of the case, quite honestly. So.
Yeah, I mean, in actuality, this is the first, I think, other than maybe just to plug it in and make sure it works, is the first time it's even come down here. Normally it's upstairs, put away. Like, I just don't, for one, I don't. Oh, Ben, thank you, Elvad. You're right. The device he has in his chest. I don't play it at all. I don't want to fall in love with it. Because if he could get what he wants for it, more power to him. I don't think he can, but I think when reality sets in, maybe.
How's it play? Does it feel good? Does it play well?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a Les Paul. I don't know if it's not in tune, but
yeah.
It's a Gibson.
You're gonna make Hack walk off set.
I felt that one.
If it was a PRS I pulled out, it'd probably still be in tune. But
when sound is good, they'll stay in tune.
In the body, I don't know if you can see, but the body's getting some little cracks in it. Like all on the seam, there's a little crack here and a little crack here.
What's with
that makes anything?
What's with the missing toe knobs? He just doesn't like.
Well, actually, he had them both here. He had them both on the. I think he had them both on the bottom. Right,
Okay.
he had both knobs on the bottom and nothing. So I guess he was just using the bridge pickup all the time.
Right.
So, Dale Palmer, Quentin James, just caught some
Quentin.
there. So yeah, I mean that's now. The story gets better because he has a whole bunch of stuff, and so when we thought that he was going to pass away, he asked us to go and start pulling his gear together and looking at what he had and what he could sell it for.
Right.
Did you not? There's like a 19. Oh my God. Don't quote me on the date here. 68, 64, 68, 68, 1968 SP Pelham Blue. And if you saw the state it was in, you would cry. The neck is separated.
Oh man.
All the electronics are gone. Lots of the pick guards gone. Part of the bridge cover or the cover that goes over down here over the but we're thinking about maybe trying to help him get that guitar restored and sold because the only other one that I saw, now this was a mint condition one on Reverb, went for like 30,000-40,000 somewhere in there. This will never go for that, but it's an original Pelham Blue SG from the 60s.
Yeah.
And then there's some other stuff too. A couple Steinbergers that are, kind of hard to get now, and like the real ones.
Yeah. Well, I think one of them's a Sunburst too, isn't it? Someone told me. Thought might have told me that about.
Yeah, there might be one. There was that one Steinberger that has the you can change the tunings on it just by moving a bar or something.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in alternate tunings and things. And
crazy Germans.
Yeah. You can see too. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but if you look at maybe the ninth fret or so, look at the markers.
Yeah, it's really discolored. That's what it's showing.
Yeah, I think that one right there is
it's caved in. Is that caved in?
What?
Is it pushed in?
No, it's not. It's been replaced. It's just a different color marker.
Different color marker. Okay.
Let's see if you can see. How good is the camera? Can you see those last couple frets?
Yeah.
They've been scalloped.
Scalloped. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like what could you do to a guitar to ruin its value? No, we'll change the tuners. We'll change one of the fret markers. We'll recarve the top. We'll refinish the top. We'll put.
Does it need a fret job too, or is the fret still all right on it?
I'd say the frets are probably fine, and he could do that work. So I mean, he could keep. Although if you look at his stuff, he didn't do too much work on it. He only worked on destroying it. He didn't do much work.
Well, you know, you could, they call it player's grade,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which means it's been played and altered maybe. But
And I did post pictures of this on the Les Paul forum and asked people, you know, what do you think this? Because I have a number of mine that I'm willing to offer him, but I also wanted to make sure that my number was reasonable, and it went the gamut on what people would be willing to pay for it.
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, some people were like, no more than, you know, like $500. Other people were like, "What's a 79?" It was a 79 Les Paul.
Right. But is it a guitar that you would? I mean, all the sentimentality aside, is it a guitar that you would want?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is
Well, I
so-
mean, like largely for the sentimental value.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it was just a guitar, somebody handed you that and said, "Would you like to buy it?"
If somebody handed you a 79 Les Paul in this shape, would you buy it?
Well, I guess it depends on the price.
And therein lies your answer, right? Would I be willing to spend maybe a little bit more than I actually think it's worth for the sentimental value to it? Yes. Would my price would be pretty low if it was just I walked into a store and I saw it
Yeah.
because of the damage to it. But it does play good. And it sounds great. It probably needs some cleaning up. You know, it needs a little bit of love and care.
Mm.
I wouldn't clean it too much because that grime might be what's holding it together.
But yeah, for the sentimental value, I mean, like, just because he was a, you know, I used to go see his band and I would sit in with his band. When I started gigging, he would come and see my band and sit in with our band. You know, like, I mean, I've played on stage with him over the years at blues jams and sitting in on each other's gigs so many times. Just became a good friend. And, you know, I mean, you know, how often do you have the chance to own an instrument of somebody that you would really look up to and admire in the music, you know, musically? Like, I would say that I look up to that musically, him, in the same way I would some of the guys that we have been listening to their CDs for, you know, like, for years and years and years.
Right. I get it.
Great guitar. So what were we saying in the chat? Because obviously 2 and 3 chords said something about getting in touch with McKnight and having him sharpen the axe. That's a good idea. Of course. Here, you really want to upset Hack. You know what I was thinking about doing? Just leaving it 2 knobs,
Mhm.
volume and tone, ordering 2 PRS pots and putting it in there and just wiring it like a PRS. I can't hurt it any more than it already's been hurt.
Oh my.
Well, that's my McCarty, which is probably my main guitar, is a volume and a tone and a 3-way toggle. I don't need these 2.
Yeah. You could do that.
Like I said, you'll either love it or you'll be disgusted.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I don't want to make you do too much work, but if you lay that on your little side thing and put the top camera on it, can you see that top a little bit better? Because one thing that would have been interesting had Gary made it, that would have been an interesting, like, artist, you know, guitar with that top is really cool looking, despite everything that's been done to it.
I'll even turn on a little light over here that I use for school. We'll see if that helps. All right. I don't know. We'll give it a shot here. Get some ideas, right?
Yeah.
There's the Kenny Neal signature.
You really see all the wood grain in that.
Mm-hmm.
I really kind of like this
Right.
different
Yeah.
color.
Different color there. Yeah, it's got like, and looks like red stripes down either side of it.
You can see that bridge a little bit better or tailpiece if you slide down a little bit, kind of, sort of. Not that that's what
as far
we're
as I
looking at.
got it.
Only
Yeah.
seen that type of setup on a Floyd. That's really weird.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I have an Ibanez PF 400, which is about that same year that has that same bridge on
How's
it.
that,
Does
eh?
anybody in the chat know what that bridge is called? I want to say it's like a TP. It's TPS, that pedal show, but there is a name for it. I forget. You can almost see it on the camera right here. This crack running the whole way down.
Oh yeah, you can see that. Yeah, now you're pointing it out. Yeah.
And then if you come over on the other side, right here through the volume pot and stuff, you can see it's cracked there.
Yeah, that's correct. Intonation and everything is good on that. Fully playable, all that good stuff.
I haven't dived into like checking the intonation, and like I said, I haven't played it much. Just other than to plug it in one time when I brought it home, just because you can't bring it home and not plug it in.
Yeah.
BB said it would be fun to put it back to a Black Beauty. You know, it probably would, BB, but I for me, that sentimental value part of it is that top. It wouldn't be the same guitar.
Yeah, the look of it. Yeah.
If I was going to do anything, I would just have it cleaned up and
Is that a brass nut on there?
no, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, it's not brass because it looked kind of like this was or heavily discolored or something. Or that
It's
can't be the original nut.
time in bars since 1979.
Yeah, but turning that color, no, I think that looks like it's been replaced.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's been replaced. I just don't know what it's been replaced with. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still me full screen. You guys gotta tell me
Sorry.
what that.
I look better when you go full screen.
Yeah, me too.
So
BB made it saying it's unbleached bone.
unbleached bone.
Yeah,
Okay.
which would mean it's a replacement nut.
That's at a TP6 tailpiece.
Like on the Lucille model.
I don't know if Brody's still in here or not, but he has a Lucille.
That's Brody saying that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
There you go. He's got one hanging probably about 3 feet from where he's listening.
Okay.
Yeah, if you search TP6 on Google, you get a whole bunch of those coming up.
Yeah, BB Made is saying bone isn't white until they bleach it. Old bone will turn that color. Okay. So it might be original. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's quite. I can't wait. I mean, I'm really hoping to get him on because he was telling me stories about it. You know, I mean, I don't know when he acquired it. I want to say maybe in the '80s, but he was telling me stories about gigs with it and whatever. You can't see this, but this is like, I mean, this is typical Gary right here. Can we see it if we get it close enough? Yeah, maybe. There's two holes on either side of the hole.
I see that. Yeah.
Oh, it's not fitting. I'm just drawing a
Yeah. You know, I've been listening to you talk, right? So like his sentiment is here, yours is here. He's trying to tell you stories to get your sentiment to here, but that guitar itself tells way more stories than Gary could ever come up with.
Right.
But by what's been done to it, it's telling its own story.
It is.
That might outweigh some of that sentiment that he's heaping on there.
And is it? I imagine it's got a bit of heft to it too, right?
Oh yeah, it's heavy. I mean, yeah, definitely heavy. But amazingly, it doesn't look like he's messed with the. I did take the back plate off.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like he's messed with the electronics in it.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you look inside the Pelham Blue SG, there's like holes. There was like little. At one point, there was little toggle switches put in it. I mean, it's he's a tinker. I mean, Gary's a player. He was a player. Not that we're not players, but this was a tool. There was no interest in collecting. There was, I mean, I bought it, I played it, I made it the way I wanted it, and nothing else mattered.
Right.
Now, of course, now it's a 79 Les Paul. You know, like I forget everything I did to it.
Yeah.
Now, but I think we determined no headstock repair though. Correct? Is that true?
Yeah. The headstock
Yes.
repair.
So it's got that going for it.
And I mean, he'll tell you the whole process he went through to paint it and lacquer it and finish it it increases the value of it. I put the coat on and then I did this. I have 37.
I was listening to Robert Johnson while I was doing it.
Right. Rub the mojo right in.
Yeah.
So Don is saying, I think you are in a situation between a rock and a hard place, and I'm no expert, but the value in that guitar is strictly sentimental.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw Jason post that on the Les Paul forum, and that, like you said, they were all over the place. And,
All over the map, eh?
yeah.
Right. And everybody was saying, half the people were saying get it and refinish it, and half the people were saying, oh, it looks really cool that way. Other people were saying, don't touch it. Some people were like, it's a 79 Les Paul custom, so it must be worth at least $3,000. And, yeah, it's.
So there it is in all its glory.
Interesting guitar, man.
Yeah.
It's got that going for it.
Well, I told you it'd be an interesting one. I didn't. It's.
Yeah.
I think I said a special Les Paul. It is a special Les Paul. It's just. I'd like to get Gary to sign it right there. If I end up keeping it someday, I'm going to have him sign it somewhere. But
It's like that Seinfeld episode. Oh, that's a baby.
yes.
Yeah.
What's BB May saying nope to?
All of it. Maybe to the 3K.
Yeah, actually, BB Made would be a guy to ask because he's a builder and.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, he's the 3K saying nope.
Right. Yeah.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
Nope. Zach likes the way it looks.
Yeah. How about in the comments? What would be the question? Would you want it refinished or keep it the way it is? I guess refinished or keep. What do you think? Just a general vote would be interesting. General vote.
Now, what do you guys think?
I love the top. The top, like I said, the top is so interesting now that he's done that to it. I'd almost hate to do anything to that, but throw a couple extra knobs on there, check the frets. I don't think there's really anything you do about the scalloped frets. Of course, they're the last few anyway. I don't venture down that way that often, but
That's the end.
Yeah, it's not many of them.
But it's got that cool, what is it? The trapezoid headstock and the refinish job is very unique and kind of cool looking. But
when I thought about even would I keep that funky bridge on there, I'm kind of getting.
Yeah, well, Don is saying you should swap that out.
Used to that,
but
I don't think it helps or hurts.
Most people are saying that keep the top, don't refinish it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you'll lose that signature if you do, for one.
Yeah. Ben's saying that he would pay about $1,000 to $1,200 in the store, but he's cheap. Actually, I think if you're paying $1,000 to $1,200 in the store for that guitar, you're not cheap.
These are the people that you, as much as you want to help your friend, these are the people you want him to stay away from.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I'm kind of resigned myself to if he gets an offer that, I don't want to fall in love with it, because if he gets an offer that will help him out, either I have to beat the offer or I have to let him take it.
Right.
Right. Have you got? Is it listed somewhere for sale already, or?
No, are you kidding? I'm not listing.
Oh,
I hope he watches this at some point.
Yeah, Gary's a good guy, man. So humble, and I've seen him play a couple times myself, and just a really interesting guy.
I would keep the paint, but fix the bridge. A couple people. Top looks cool.
yeah. People dig the top.
Put it on eBay.
So
I just feel like if you,
I think you on eBay, you'd pay more for it than you would if you had it in your hand.
Well, and it would be such a tricky one to sell because you could try to disclose everything, right? And you could put it out there. And some people really got to go, not a big deal. And some people go, oh, that crack's worse than I thought it was. Or it's kind of hard, like for someone to buy it online and not actually be able to really hold it and look at it, in my opinion. But
yeah, I would be afraid to send it to somebody.
I mean, the disclaimer would be like this long, and that might be enough to scare people away to begin with. I don't know. But
And somebody said, well, the case might be worth more than the guitar.
that was me at one point.
Then you get into like, oh, really? Right? I mean, this is, yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, over the years, Gary needed some new roadies to take care of his gear when he was moving it around.
Hey, Paul Lou's in here. Hey, Paul, how are you?
So
I don't know, man.
I don't know either. So we've been doing these for about an hour, and I think we're getting close to that or at that point. Anything else, Pat, for Hack? Why we have him here? Kind of
No,
story there.
I kind of like to have things for part 2 because at some point we'll circle back with Hack and ask him how he started this whole YouTube journey, but we can't clearly start that now. But for anybody in the chat that hasn't subscribed to his channel, jump over there and do that. He was gracious enough to have us on early on, and we'd like to return the favor in some small way. But it's always great to talk to him and check out his show. Really super interactive in the chats. Really cool guy, gigging musician. And we've enjoyed kind of virtually getting to know him and appreciate him coming on as part of a distraction for us too, like not just everybody else. But
Yeah,
so
I think it's cool what you guys are doing, and what a lot of folks are doing, which is doing a lot of these live things, daily, and putting up content, and like you said, providing distractions. And I think more so probably the live streams are better, just to keep talking and dialogue and talk about stuff that we love, and take a break from all the other, because all that stuff out there is going to go on, and it's going to go on for a long time, and you're getting bombarded constantly with it, and anything that will take you away from that, even for a moment, is a blessing, right? So
yeah,
you guys are doing these daily things. Very cool.
Did you see Paul Simon has been posting little videos of him like standing in front of a wall playing some of his songs? He did the Boxer acoustic yesterday and put it out. And then I saw today Graham Nash did a little thing where he played like 3 songs. He played Our House, Teach Your Children, and 4 and 20 Years Ago.
Yeah.
Just him sitting in his room. So stuff like that has been really cool to see too.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I noticed on Facebook, a lot of people are doing like live streaming. Greg Koch did one earlier today, I believe. People are just, because they're in the same boat as we are, and it's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're putting stuff out, so
Yeah, it's really cool.
yeah.
So I think
But one thing, so just go check out. You have a website. He's got a merch store. I'm sure you're going to give all the standard plugs there at the end, but I want to make sure we.
do it for Hack.
I appreciate that, guys.
I should have worn my Hack shirt today instead of my JHS shirt, but
What's
I'll wear mine. Yeah, so I'll be on, guy. Well, if anybody is new to the channel, I usually do a weekly Thursday 8:00 show, 8 Eastern. I got a guest. I got Lars Guitarist coming on. So if you want something to do Thursday 8:00, and I might be doing a Saturday. I did a live thing Saturday off the cuff, and that was a lot of fun. I'll probably do another one on Saturday night around 9:00, and again, like I said, just interact.
All right. So check that out. Make sure you stop over and sub his channel, which I think probably most of you are, but some of you I think maybe are not. So with that coming up, since we're doing this every day, we're trying to bring somebody in to talk to. Tomorrow, we're talking with a guy named Brian who owns Howling Monkey guitar picks. And so these are some really interesting picks. We just kind of found out about them. They're some Facebook marketing, I think. But they kept popping up in my Facebook. I'm like, well, let's try them out, you know. So they're really cool. They're made out of a nut from like South America or something like that. So it's a different material. So stop in and check them out. It's a sustainable thing too, which is kind of cool. You know, being environmental guy. So he's on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm still waiting for 100% confirmation, but should be Dave Sestito from DLS Effects. So he made that roto spin pedal we did. He makes a bunch of other pedals. We have a tremolo pedal of his that's pretty awesome. He's been around for a long time. And then on Friday, David Barber from Barber Electronics is going to be on. And just, I mean, be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. When you guys had him on, the two-parter, that was great. That was awesome.
It could have been a PBS miniseries had we let it go. I mean, that dude is switched on.
Right. And he, I mean, just be prepared. That's all I'm going to say.
Caffeinate.
Because, I mean, he knows so much. He's been in this. He's legendary in that world. I mean, he's been doing it. He's one of the first real boutique guys. And Dave Sestito, too. Like, both of those guys were in real early, back when musictoys.com was like the only place to get pedals online. Both of them were making pedals back then.
Yep.
So definitely check those two guys out. And I think with that,
all right. That would be
thanks to Hack.
Yes.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yep. So I'm PJ on behalf of the beard that's behind me and the beard that's over there, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. Wash your hands.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.